All right, in today's venue segment, I'm going to talk to you about bank safes and how I use them in the show. This is one of the most powerful things you have on a digital console. This one will save you as many times as anything. I mean, it's just an incredible feature to have on a digital console. So let's talk about how I do it here, okay? Okay, so the first place we're going to start is in the options page. This is where you choose what safe is going to be available to you on the top level of the console. And if you notice down here in the lower left-hand corner on inputs, it's bank safe, and in outputs, it's also bank safe. All right. There's a reason that I have it that way, because I manipulate these switches throughout the night depending on what I'm doing. Now, it's worth noting that we also have the ability, let's see if I can do this smoothly here, to create a bank safe bypass now. Here we go. So if you'll notice in the events list now, I have an event that is called Safe Bypass, and I'm using function switch 3, and when it's pressed, it's going to disable safe and toggle it, right? And it's also going to flash function switch 3, right? So we'll move over to the console now. Now remember now, just in terms of layout, as you guys may have followed me in the past, I have all of my audio subgroups sitting right here. And I have all of my VCAs sitting right here that are mixing inputs within those subgroups. And for the most part, I have these saved for the entire show, right? Right now you can see that I have VCAs saved, so I can set up any other layout. I can go to inputs, I can go to outputs, I can even go to VCAs, whatever. Those stay right there for me to address during the show at all times, all right? Now, if I go down here where my groups are, now I can have these saved. If I want these to stay here, I just literally put them in safe, and they're going to stay there for the entire show or until I release the safe, right? But I actually leave these unsaved for a lot of the show because I use this as a navigation point, right? And I use spill to do that. So spill automatically starts from the left side of the console and works its way right. So let's go and spill maybe just Mike Campbell's guitar for a second. I'm going to double tap this, and notice it spills, right? And I have his guitar channels that I can get to and manipulate very quickly there. Notice as I go back over, the VCAs are still there. I'm still mixing. I'm just editing with my left hand, mixing with my right hand. The way I get out of that is just simply to hit the cancel button, and the groups come back to life there, right? So I could also do this with by bypassing my safes if I want to do that as well. So for instance, if I spill out my keyboards, you'll see it actually has a number of inputs in it, a large number of inputs in it. And you'll notice also that the nudge button has lit up on the right. So that is going to allow me to nudge that spill out from under my VCAs. My VCAs are still in the center of the console, and I'm going to start nudging until I get access to the channels that were underneath the VCAs, all right? So the way I get back out of that is either to nudge right or cancel out of it. Now I'm back to my groups. We're back here on my VCAs, etc. It's also worth noting that I have my lead vocal saved and a couple of my backing vocals saved. Now, on the right-hand side of the lead vocal, you can see that I have the lead vocal, I have some slap for the vocal, some reverb for the vocal, and even some pitch change or some long spins depending on what snapshot is up there. So you'll notice as I start to recall other snapshots, the safe channels stay in place, but other channels start to populate there depending on snapshot, right? So that's the ability to change layouts now with snapshot. So my safe channel never goes away, my snapshot channels come into play there. So as I was saying, safes can stay there. The other thing we can do is, like, if I want to get to my inputs layer, maybe during the day, whatever, instead of unsafing these channels, right, I can just bypass them. So if I go to inputs here, now I'm on maybe the very first input layer. Well, notice the inputs that are under there are going to be underneath my VCAs. So I'm going to go to that F3 and just bypass the safes, and now those inputs that were underneath it are there. So I don't actually have to go in and undo the safes. I can do it with one switch. And then just put my safes back in play, come back out of inputs, go back to layouts, and off we go. All right, so that's bank safing. I encourage you to practice and work with it. It's a really, really great feature on the system.